Check, baby, check, 1, 2. Give us an audio check, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening out there, drop a comment. Let us know that you can hear my voice. Check, 1, 2. Good morning, everyone. Running just a bit late here. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this show that I call DYOR Live here, because we are live, not recorded like all these other bum shows that give you old news. We only bring you some fresh news. This is normally where I'd introduce my co-host, Mr. Pedro Garcia, but Mr. Pedro Garcia is running late today. So he'll be with us in a few minutes. Anyway, lots and lots and lots. I had a whole monologue prepared to interact with Pedro today. Not gonna work. But anyway, big news today. You can see from the moving charts, big economic numbers out today. The US government released all kinds of info today because the government shutdown ended, and the FOMC minutes came out, the jobs data came out, unemployment data, the CPI, PP. No, it didn't. Ha! The government shutdown is still going on, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrats did a great job of making it go on long enough so that it would affect the election. And it did. It did affect the election. It affected it so much that the Democrats did quite well in the elections, especially the elections for governors, and took some red states and turned them into blue states for governorship, not for legislatures. So a very interesting time. The government shutdown, while it got them the votes they needed, it's wreaking havoc on Wall Street, who has come to rely on regular government numbers. And I've been saying for a long time, Wall Street should not be relying on the government for anything at all. Zero. And the fact that now the whole trading cycle revolves around this number, that number, this number's out, this number's that out, wrecks it. In fact, it keeps liquidity out of the market on jobs release week. It's a bad thing. And just the government just used to release things. They didn't used to always have these big press conferences and schedules and all this type of stuff. They used to just release things. The Fed would just change their rates one day, and that would be it. No press conference, no nothing. And so the liquidity in the market stayed the same because they never knew what was different. Now the liquidity changes in the market because they anticipate what the government's going to do, and that's not a good thing. Anyway. But amazingly enough, Wall Street continues while the government's shut down. Can you believe it? It's like the people on Wall Street don't actually need the government. Or us here trading Bitcoin. Or shitcoins. Like Ethereum and XRP, and there's a couple of you that are going to laugh about that. Anyway, some other fun news that I was going to go back and forth with Pedro here. Did anyone see the theft at the Louvre? And I bring this up because we talked cybersecurity last night, and I'll tell you about that in the second half hour of the show. But the one thing that I learned about the news from the Louvre, guys, see, it was the old adage: put on a high-vis jacket, wear a helmet, and carry a metal clipboard, and you can do anything you want, go anywhere you want. Guys walked right in the Louvre and took a bunch of very expensive stuff. I don't know what it was, but just very expensive stuff. Walked out, left. They had their way with the security system too. The password at the Louvre security system for that little area was the word Louvre. This is what the news is reporting. I've not verified it that it was true. Maybe it's urban legend or something like that. But that's what they're reporting. So cybersecurity on the news. The Louvre. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of you listeners out there. I'm more than certain a bunch of you listeners out there, your password is password. Oh, why isn't this auto scrolling? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Crypto Unicorns. Thanks for joining us. Love your sailor profile picture there. You like the Elizabeth Warren troll, huh? In case for those of you who didn't notice on the thumbnail here, you look right over the B of Back Alley Bitcoin. There's a little picture of Miss Elizabeth Warren being very unhappy. So why did I pick Back Alley Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen? Why did I do that for the theme of the show? What we're gonna talk about later in the second half of the show is Bitcoin, how people buy Bitcoin. And one area, how they buy them, caught my attention as I hadn't expected it to be so large, and I should have understood it, and I didn't. Like a lot of things on this show, we get focused in our certain areas, and then you forget about something. So do people use a central exchange, a CEX? Do they have CEX in the Back Alley? They can use a DEX. You can buy Bitcoin on a DEX now. Even futures-oriented DEXs like Aster and Hyperliquid, stuff like that, or on other DEXs, you can buy Bitcoin. And you can buy them on what I'm calling a NEX. A NEX. Striking. What the hell's a NEX? A NEX is called a no exchange. Right, no exchange. No exchange at all. You just buy them from other people. But is it easy to meet other people that want to buy and sell? If you have a Bitcoin meetup, which we did last night, then it is. But you meet a small subset of people. Really, you want the best price for something that's traded around the world. You need a global platform, you need something on the web, or an app. And last night I learned about all these apps in which you can buy and sell Bitcoin peer-to-peer. And obviously I should have known that those existed because that's how Bitcoin started. Anyway, we'll talk about that in the second half of the show. Hopefully some of the guys from the Ottawa Bitcoin Meetup Club, or whatever we call it, or whatever they call it, will join the show and join the comment section here. But as they say, let's get right on to Bitcoin. Let me update them. Usually Pedro's going on his Bitcoin thing here, and I can do all this stuff behind the scenes. Let's load the yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, I forgot over the shoulder right here. Was over my shoulder. The Blockchain Futurist Convention is going on in Florida right now in Miami. It used to be here in Toronto. And Pedro and I covered it pretty extensively. We did the live broadcasts from the Blockchain Futurist Convention. Let's go back to that so I can show it and talk about it. Obviously, their camera budget this year was low because all you get is this zoomed out view. You can't even see who's talking. They look like twins. Look like two guys and two twins. Everyone's wearing the same thing, a blue blazer and jeans. Anyway, the Blockchain Futures Convention in Miami. Shout out to Laura, Tracy, and I can't remember. Can't remember Tracy's husband's name. Anyway, having the show in Miami this year. Pedro and I were supposed to go, but we didn't get a sponsor because none of you guys listened to our pleas for sponsorship. It's expensive to travel with video gear, stay in Miami, all that type of stuff. DeFi dude in the house. Thanks, Dara, coming to us all the way from Spain. The Irishman in Spain. How's the Spanish? Are you fluent in Spanish, or you just get by with Euro Spanish? Connect Me One says winning. Don't know why. Oh, that was earlier. Anyway, DeFi dude, Pedro's running a bit late today, so it's just me going to talk about the Bitcoin, where it is in the market right now, and then probably have a discussion about the topic of the show, about how people buy Bitcoin. Not like from a newbie perspective, but just lay the market out there. How they do it. But anyway, the Blockchain Futures Convention is going on here in Florida right now. A lot of good speakers. One of the top topics, as always lately, privacy. And Pedro and I have been talking about privacy for a while. Not that they should do it, but that the market is realizing that open blockchains have value in certain things that you'd like governments using them. But having your personal finances on an open blockchain is bad. Big data is sussing out who is who and all that type of stuff. And people are starting to move over to more privacy-sensitive things, and we're seeing the prices of Monero, Zcash, and other things going through the roof because of that. But all this going on, Blockchain Futurist Convention down there in Miami. It's day 2. We wish Pedro and I were doing the commentary there again, as we have done in Toronto. But Miami's far from Ottawa. And you need airplanes and hotels. And need a sponsor. Si, señor. I did the high school Spanish for many years. And I got pretty good at asking where the bathroom is in Spanish. But my teacher taught Spain Spanish. United States' second language of Spanish is not Spain Spanish. No, it's Mexican restaurant Spanish, which is totally different. Totally different. Spain and Colombia kind of have talk similar Spanish, and Mexico and Spain, it's more like French and Quebec. It's not. They're both called French, but they're not the same. No. In fact, the guys on Bloomberg Radio today were like, hey, I was just in Montreal, and I covered Paris for a long time in the financial markets, and went to Montreal. I didn't understand a goddamn thing they said. So you could hope everyone can tell I'm trying to blow time here while Pedro is getting here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at Bitcoin here. What's going on with Bitcoin? That appears to be Ethereum. Let's look at what's going on with Bitcoin here. Bitcoin doing the dance to 100,000. We saw it starting to pop yesterday. It got it in a very short amount of time, as you can see. It hit its lows of under 100,000, and then promptly went back up to 104,000. And crypto Twitter turned on a dime. They went from saying, "Oh man, this thing's going to zero," to moon, and 150. 200K by the end of the year. And this morning, the tweets were completely the opposite again. Coming down here, this is the 1 hour chart here. I'm not going to do the deep dive of it. I'll let Pedro go do that when he comes on. But as you can see here in the 1 hour chart, not looking good. We're under all the moving averages here, the 200, the 100, the 20, the 8. It just looks like it's going to be rolling over under 100 again. Even if you go to the 15-minute chart, it's looking even worse in the past 2 or 3 hours. Would really need some good news out of any kind of sector at all about it to drive the market up, or a market maker to say, call Binance up and say, hey, we need to turn this thing around, and in 10 seconds it'll be turned around. But for the short term, it looks like the market is going down. I mean, even if you go to the day chart, nobody's having fun over here in these charts. All the moving averages are above price action. You don't have to be a wizard or know a lot. I'm self-confessed here. Anyway, I feel free to say that I'm a newbie at this, even though I've been in the markets for a long time and understand them. Traded futures and commodities basically in college. There's still so much I don't know, especially looking at charts. But this is an obvious one. If all the moving averages are below it, below the price action, it's not good. And these in my chart, I have white for red because I don't like to see red candles. Fire Chicken says, "I got so many shorts on. I have so many shorts on. I will have to move to the beach." And if you know Fire Chicken, he lives in the middle part of the United States. There isn't a beach. There's not a beach within 1,000 miles of him. Well, maybe 800 miles. Maybe Texas. Maybe South Padre Island or something is down. Isn't that far? And I realize there's lakes and stuff like that. You can wear your shorts and bathing suit on. Chuck, I do not have any trades on. We've got 2 trade wave trades that activated. Pedro held back on the Aster trade, but my BNB trade hit, and Ethereum hit. And I have a feeling those are going to be underwater for a week or so. But they came down to the levels. I mean, just 2 weeks ago would we say, oh, Ethereum's coming down to 3,000? People would be like, no, it's not. You, Mr. Striking, are smoking crack. But it did. It did. Even Bitcoin. I mean, people realize Bitcoin is volatile, but Ethereum has been quite volatile. Anyway, here's the daily chart for Bitcoin. Not looking great. Not at all. You would, if you were to flip this daytime chart up, you would say, oh, there's a bull flag. Well, Pedro would say, oh, there's some supply wicks there. Let's put it back in the regular thing. There's some demand wicks here, so that's showing that it's good. There's buyers here. Pedro likes to see demand wicks on the way down. We have the demand wicks, so that could possibly be the floor, the local floor here for the week. It is Friday of the week, and so I had a graphic here. Is it this one? No, that's just 2 girls twirling around a Bitcoin. Oh yeah, there's this one. 95,000 coming soon. I'm having to resort to cheap AI graphics. Actually, that's Mrs. Striking. She went out in a cyberpunk city and held a glowing 3D sign. No, it's AI. It's crock. But 95 is it coming soon? I don't know. Pedro and I have always been talking about it coming down into the 90s, but with these on the daily chart, these demand wicks here. We'll see how today. If this is the low for today right here, that the bottom of that demand wick, and it closes up higher, then we will see. This should be a floor. Hold on a second. Let me check something, ladies and gentlemen. Nope. I heard Mr. Garcia in my ear. Anyway, so Bitcoin not doing good. Not doing good. But like if you come up here and listen to us regularly, Pedro and I don't care about up all the time. We just care about violence of movement. We want the volatility index for Bitcoin to be high. We want volatility, and we want price movement, because then you can trade them, because that's what we do. Fire Chicken says Galveston is 600 miles. That's 1,000 kilometers for you Canuckastanis up here. But even Charles Barkley says the water is nasty and the women are too big. So closest legitimate beach with pretty water and sand would be the Gulf Shores at 880 miles. The Redneck Riviera is the closest place because the water is. I can hear Charles. Man, my water's nasty. That nasty. No shot. That is nasty. Nobody wants to go to a beach like that. No, nobody. Even us old guys. All right, so that's the Tom take on Bitcoin for now. Still not going up well, but with these demand wicks right here, that might hold us to a local floor here. Kind of depends on how today flushes out. Today's not really a big Friday. It's not Friday. Thursday. I don't even know what numbers would have been released tomorrow if it would have been the monthly report. But doesn't matter. US government's shut down. Doesn't matter. Anyway, this is the time that it says to do a commercial break. So let's see if they offer us one here. Not yet. Need one more viewer for a commercial break. Let me share this on the Twitter here a little bit. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you could do us a favor and share this, it would be very appreciative. We're broadcasting on a number of different platforms, as always, simulcasting. Our main platform is Rumble, but appreciate those watching on other platforms. Come on over on Rumble. There's a link right in the description here, and if you're watching on YouTube, for our registration link, so you can register. It doesn't mean you have to pay for premium. You can just create an account. It's free, and creating an account allows you to like, subscribe, repost, and interact with us, because that is what we're all about here. I see that I need to update my Bitcoin price. Funny, I pulled Bitcoin on two different APIs. The one above me is the CoinGecko API. I'm sorry, it's from Fiat Leak. This is Fiat Leak's page. And I believe you can see there, it's the Kraken exchange. 101.316. It's a webhook, so it's fairly a live price. My API over here is from CoinGecko's database, and the prices are always different. And that's indicative. I mean, Bitcoin pricing is different all over the web, or I should say all over the world. Now, especially in Korea, you pay a premium in Korea for Bitcoin. But I always find it interesting. Anyway, Bitcoin's volume is still up high. We're 20. No, I'm sorry. It's about the same as average. About 60 billion in the past 24 hours. That's kind of lately. That's been a normal day, with bigger movements showing 100 billion in trades. Imagine I met with. I'm just gonna actually it's top of the hour here. Let's re-rack the show. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. Here, there's logos. Just switched them all recently. Anyway, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. It's the second half hour of our show here. We're talking Bitcoin today, where people buy Bitcoin, how they buy Bitcoin, and some interesting things I learned last night hanging out with Corey and crew at the Ottawa Bitcoin meetup, which I've lived here in Ottawa. Now, let me rephrase that. I don't live here. I live in Chicago, but I reside here occasionally. Don't even reside here. I visit here occasionally because my wife lives here. And but I've broadcasted a lot of shows from here. Been involved with crypto. Been involved with Bitcoin. Talk about Bitcoin pretty much every day. Have Bitcoin in my feeds. And it wasn't until I watched the Canadian Joey and Len with the Canadian podcast, Canadian Bitcoiners podcast, that someone in the comments mentioned that I was coming to. I'm watching from Ottawa. The guy says, hey, we're gonna have a meetup here in Ottawa on this coming Wednesday, which was last night. I'm like, that's interesting. And they're like, yeah, we've been doing it for years. Like, years? How did I not know this? Not even in my social media feeds. Anyway, we got the ads up. So I gotta take this moment to earn a living here, as they say, and make our sponsors happy. Ladies and gentlemen, see, you knew that I had this cup out for a reason, didn't you? You loyal viewers know what's coming. Have you still not tried 1775 coffee? Well, now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units, and we've been doing this ad for a while, so I know there's fewer of them. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard. You're getting the smooth medium roast, and you're getting the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and a laser focus, no crash. To be clear, when you place an order, you get 3 different types of coffee. Bold dark roast, smooth medium roast, and the mushroom Vitality coffee. It's all single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting the gold spoon clip. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because freedom isn't served with plastic. No. You're getting a frother strong enough to stir up your mother's political opinions. Yes, I ad-libbed that one. You're also getting a black 1775 tumbler. You're getting $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for 99 bucks. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up right here on this channel here. Wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is worth it. So go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like we do right here on Rumble. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching on big screen TV, there is a QR code over here. Hold your smartphone up there and pop that for us. Put your eyeballs on our advertisers. It helps us out, and we need your help. We're trying to grow this channel. We get about, on all the different places we broadcast, we get about 70 to 80 people watch it live, some portion of it, and then within the next day or so, everything adds up to be about 500. We would like to have about 500 live viewers at once here, and then a few thousand on the X. And that relies on you guys visiting our advertisers and sharing this. Anyway, go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Thank you to 1775coffee.com for sponsoring this segment, DYOR Live. And I know all of you were waiting for that. I know all of you were. Anyway, let's move on. Let us move on, ladies and germs. Fire Chicken says fire. Elmo's on fire. All right, what did I do last night that should interest you guys? Because I'm betting many of the people in the audience have not done what I did last night, and you should. Let's see, I gotta get new page up here. I went to the touching my TV. It's not a touch screen here. We don't need the oops. Guess we don't need this. Anyway, last night, as I said, I was watching the Canadian Bitcoin podcast. Joey and Len run a great podcast. Good news, good, well thought out stuff. Much like Pedro and I here, except they don't go off on tangents. Hey, there's Pedro. I hear Mr. Pedro in the background. Pedro, your mic is still muted here. Let me just finish this thought and let you get set up and ready there. But anyway, last night I went to this event run by the Capital Bitcoiners. This is their Twitter page, or DEX page, obviously. And met a bunch of the people that are interested in Bitcoin, especially Corey. What's his Twitter name? The ruler is broken or something like that. Anyway, I had a great time. Learned all about the local Bitcoin scene, how long people have been meeting up. And long as I can say that I've been involved in crypto and broadcasting about it. They've been meeting right down the street. I got on the train right down here, took the train. 10 minutes later, I got off right at the place where they meet. I'm like, I couldn't have been any easier. And met up with them. And so a bunch of them said that they'd watch today. So hopefully they are. But I'll talk more about the topic of the show, how people buy Bitcoin in a little bit, because we've got Mr. Pedro Garcia in the house here. Pedro, turn your mic on. Mic's on, camera's coming on.
Awesome.
Hola.
Hola, how you doing? It is a beautiful day, man. Oh, there it goes. Okay. all right. Let's try this here. Real interesting. I had some really interesting situations happening the last few days. I would say the last 2 weeks with my internet and stuff like that, and having issues. So, it's just been really fun. We've
been
really
watching you fight your battle there, and well, frankly, lose your battle.
It's kind of a David and Goliath situation. It actually gets very frustrating because you just like, will this work? Like,
well, Pedro, one of the major cable providers here in Canada is this company called Rogers, and I was looking at their TV to go website one day, and I was like, boy, this operates exactly like the one I used to use in Chicago. And the one in Chicago was run by a group called Comcast. And we all know that that's equivalent to a curse word. And I was like, well, I mean, it's exact. The software is exact. And I'm like, the page, everything's exact. It's exactly the same. And I'm like, that's weird. And all of a sudden, one day, the URL changes. And in the Rogers thing, it says Comcast content. And I was like, wow. Sure enough, Comcast didn't buy Rogers, but is a big investor in it and stuff like that. And shortly after the customer service went right to hell. right to hell. And I don't know if you use Comcast where you are, but I hope I don't even think you have much choice, do you?
Actually, there's a new provider that's coming into my area, so I am hot to trot just to try it out. I'm hoping. I mean, glass is glass, so I'm hoping that having the new entity pushes all the other because now everybody now it's fingers crossed. You can get Comcast, you can get this one called Frontier, but it's really just a pain in the butt. And I'm just kind of excited to finally see like 3 people in the area, and those 3 people are good. So now if one is trash and the other one's trash, third one's going to at least be somewhat better than trash. It's like with that much competition, you can't so fingers crossed, we'll see what's up. But it was really interesting with Bitcoin and everything that's happening right now. We've got Aster selling off again, coming back down lower. I didn't trust this rally. But again, we are putting in demand wick, so that's a good sign. When we're looking at Aster, one of the things I've been paying attention, monitoring, is what's happening with why is that so hard for me to say? Crypto markets, that's what it is. And I was trying to do 2 things at one time.
We know that doesn't work for either one of us.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we don't have a project manager who can do all that stuff. So we've got to one day, God willing, right? Things will pop like it's hot, and it will pop. I don't even know why I'm saying like that. That's just weird. All right. So, but it's really interesting to see what's actually happening with Bitcoin, simply because it is playing. Come on, dude. You were
before you came on, I did a basic Bitcoin review, and I said I'm going to let Pedro do the deeper analysis of it and let his camera crash to the floor. But from looking at the 15-minute chart, not good. Price action all below. Looking at the 1 hour chart, not good. Everything below the price action. However, on the daily chart, even though everything was below the price action, there were some demand wicks there that you always talk about. And a little bit of volume, and so I was like, maybe we're at the regional low here. Probably still gonna go down later on. Oh, my green screen isn't right today. Darn it! And you can see the square outline of it not working. It's one of these days where it's bright sunny and then cloudy, then bright sunny and cloudy, and you're just like, pick one. Yeah. But anyway, but tell us, Pedro. Okay. Do I need to put up the graphic that says 95,000 coming soon, or just 100,000 coming soon?
Well, it all depends, honestly, over the next couple hours here, because if we finish off at this lower level here, we're going down to that 95. We're putting in a lower high right now with decent volume. When you look at the hour chart here, you're seeing them take profit, right? So you can see you have decent amount of buyers stepping in, and it's not looking grim, but they've got to sit there. We've got to see more hours that look like this. We want to see that down in this level here, right? And so when we're sitting there, and that is a good example of what we want to see in Bitcoin. That's the good thing. What we want to see is that it's coming down. They're putting in buys here. Now, is this going to be primarily area where, like, we've had this here for almost, let me make sure I get the trade here. It must have been up here. When was this? So June. So we probably had this up here for almost 6 months now. 5 months, 6 months. 5 months, sorry. And so, like, this idea, you have 2 junction points here. You have the 400 period moving average. When you look at the CME daily 200 there is still looking kind of scary. We did bounce. I think I'll pull it up here real quick so that we can see it. BTC, CME.
Welcome, baby Draco, to the house. Jesus, coming to us from the great state of Okay, it's not the great state of anything. It's except nice vistas that burn occasionally. California.
That was funny. We'll jump here real quick and we'll jump into that. Good to see you, baby Draco. So you can see here at these levels, like, we weren't able fully to get closed above that 200, but we did come up with a decent amount of volume as we came up. And so that's what we want to at least see, is that we're coming up close to it. We're seeing a pullback today, so it kind of elongates what I was saying. I said I want to see it close above the 200 if it doesn't. But I said if it gets close with a good amount of volume, well, that puts us in that no man's land, and we're kind of in that no man's land here. Whereas I lean more towards the downside because I haven't seen enough demand wicks, but it doesn't mean that we're not seeing them, because when you look right here, you can also see on the CME, we came and hit this area here. And so once we came and hit that area on the CME, which was an epic short or an epic buy, we saw it kind of come up here. And then as it was coming up, we saw some buyers stepping in, but it still isn't, I'm just not seeing what I want to see, which is like what I said, a good amount of like, I want to see this type of volume, right, on the hour chart, but throughout the day, like this being like that high, right, where we see that, and then the next day we see real buyers coming in that look like that, not red but green. That's what I'm looking for with big old demand wicks, and that changes the narrative, the environment, because now you can definitely see they're stepping in, they're putting a base, and they want to take it up. So that's really what I'm looking for. But you can see though that I'm not seeing a lot of seller wicks, right? So that means that they will probably want to take it back up real once they get in at these low levels, basically enough liquidity that they can stop everybody out, and then want to push it back up. So it's just really interesting.
1 second, I'm off camera 1 second, fixing my green screen.
That's all right. That's all right. Let's check out what's going on within the actual group here. Fire Chicken, it's good to see you. Shout out to all 17 people watching. It's glad to have every one of you guys. You guys rock the mic. If you guys could do us a quick favor, just log on into the Rumbles area, create a little profile, and just shop in and say, hey, I don't like that guy with the red shirt. He looks like he's brown, needs to be over the border. And I'll be like, you're probably right, but say something, right?
We're sending ice, baby.
Send ice. It's all good. It's just a joke. That's not going to age well at all. All right. No, that's definitely not.
Wow, are you not getting the YouTube algorithm love anymore? Well, now we know why. Anyway, also welcome to new viewer Sky. Well, at least maybe new viewer. I don't know if we've seen you before here. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Hope you came as a recommendation from maybe from Baby Draco or Chuck saying, come on over here from the Moon or Dust group. Have to have the Moon or Dust people come on over and chill and talk about their game show one of these days here. They put on actually a pretty good game show here. Sean,
check it out.
And Mr. Pixel, they do a good job. And we see Mr. Pixel here watching every now and then.
Love the Mr. Pixel. Now, let's real quick go over just to finish off last little bit here of BTC. So what I'm looking for is to come back and test this low here, that 99 area. Again, we want to see it test, and we want to see it similar to what we're seeing here. That is paramount when it comes to looking at BTC. You want to see real buyers coming in, and we want to see good volume on the hour chart that looks like this, but consistently for like 3 or 4 hours straight, right? And this is good. I'm not saying it's not, but I want to see a higher amount of volume coming in on that hour chart. And I would love to see it as we go down into the evening, right? And then in the midst of the London Open, as well as in the Asia market, the Asian Open. Why is that so hard for me to say? Like there's something about the Asian and Asian, and my body wants to say Asian, and I'm like, no, it's Asian. But now I'm messing myself even more. Anyways, forgive me for my brothers out there. All right. So, but I want to see it come down and hit it. Boom. And then we want to see wicks where we put the body to look like this. We want to see that. And that looks good. Or forms where I can sit there and see defense against that area. As of right now, started good right here with the end of yesterday, or the end of I believe this was Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Yeah. So Tuesday started. We're coming back down to test those lows. If we get what I was talking about, which is a bunch of big hammers, then that's going to be a good sign saying we're most likely going to continue up. So just be ready for that, right? Big volume, big open interest of a lot of buys coming in. Again, I want to add to this. This is still the beginning of the month here, okay? We're in the middle section of the contract. And so that means that we're coming down, boom, and potentially going up. So this is where I expect us, if we're going to find around, it's going to be that 99, 89 area where I would expect to see people really push up after that, or the price of Bitcoin to go up. Okay, quick question for you. What other news do you have, my friend?
Well, I was talking about the theme of the day here, where people buy their Bitcoin, and I have the thing up saying back alley Bitcoin here. If you notice, if you're really astute, you can look over the B and the A on back alley and see a little picture of Elizabeth Warren there, because all sorts of things that are happening that she just doesn't like. She just doesn't like. Yeah. People are buying Bitcoin, Pedro. They buy it, as I like to say, I was saying earlier, they buy it on a central exchange. They have sex. That's how we say it here in English. They have sex on a central exchange, CEX. They buy it on a DEX, DEX. You can decentralize exchange your Bitcoin. And they buy it peer-to-peer on what I call a NEX. No exchange. And no exchange. And there are apps now. One I learned about last night from Corey with the Ottawa Bitcoiners. It's called BISC, in which people put Bitcoin for sale or offers to buy on, and you have your price. People after looking at it, people do it as like trading. They say, I'll buy some down here and sell it up here. But a lot of people just want to sell it. And a lot of people want to buy. Turns out a lot of people want to buy Bitcoin that is fresh from the miners.
Really?
Turns out people will pay more for Bitcoin. That first of all comes more Bitcoin in one UTXO in one transaction, with fewer fees doing that. But they would rather have Bitcoin that comes right from the miners because it hasn't been poisoned. It's Bitcoin, doesn't matter. However, as we see social credit scores, wallet rating things, soon all those things that that everyone says there's a gap in regulation, there could be money laundering unless we rate everyone's wallet and they KYC their wallet and everything like that. So people will pay more for Bitcoin that does not have any lineage to it, just miners right to an exchange and boom, out to someone to sell or something like that. Or the exchange, a lot of times the exchanges have friends and they're like, we need to sell this stuff. And the friends say, who are whales, will say, I'll take it off your hands. Thank you very much.
Right.
And then the whale might unload some of them. Right. And not so much of a big deal with whales because they have tons of money and assets anyway. But for us chumbalones, having Bitcoin that won't one day be ruled, that went through a mixer, 10 years ago. And in that mixer, I don't know. Not sure we trust that, even though it's 10 years ago. And we know you're legit and have KYC'd and all that, but that Bitcoin is poisoned. So now we have a black market for poison black Bitcoin, which will trade at a discount. So I found that very interesting. I learned a lot from this group just in one quick setting. And I'm not going to go over the apps and stuff they showed me. There's millions of apps, and I don't want to lead anyone into using one over the other. But I found it very interesting in the way that Bitcoin is still sold. In the day in which it's so easy to open up a Coinbase account, withdraw money from your checking account instantly, and then have the Bitcoin sent to your wallet, like actual Bitcoin, not fake crypto exchange tokens, that people still do this. And it's still quite big, especially, obviously this is a group of Bitcoiners, so they're the diehards. They're all the ones with, air-gapped computers and triple security and stuff like that. And they, they're like, no money on any exchange is a good idea. And then, but it's still so easy to go to a central exchange and say, just give me my effing money. Here, take my cash and give me some Bitcoin. But people will still do it peer-to-peer for a number of reasons that they still worry about. Not because of things that happened in the past, but things that may happen in the future. And I found that very interesting. Even as banks, governments buy this stuff, even if it's so common now that the second word out of the Bloomberg guy's mouth today after S&P 500 was Bitcoin price. 10 years ago, they wouldn't even mentioned it.
Yes.
That people still
literally
buy it. I mean, imagine, here, think of it this way. I'm going to go buy some S&P 500 on the peer-to-peer market. It's like, going into the back alley here, going in the back alley, and hey man, I need some of the good stuff. What do you want? You want white? You want easy? You want what? I need some 500. Oh man, ooh, it's gonna cost you. Ooh, it's gonna cost you. But I joke, I jest, and I put Elizabeth Warren on this picture here, trolling her, because this is exactly what she never wanted to happen. She tried valiantly, get that right, to stop this whole thing in its tracks. And people now, they can buy. There are well-functioning, efficient markets to buy Bitcoin however you want, easily on a central exchange. Easily on a decentral exchange, or even easily on a no exchange. And you don't even, and with the no exchanges, there's like no KYC needed whatsoever. Like at Coinbase, you gotta give them a note from your mom. Even if you just want to buy Bitcoin and send it to yourself, they're like, got a KYC. Here, you just go buy Bitcoin. We had one guy came and said, I've been buying Bitcoin at the machines. He said, but I realized that the fees they're taking are outrageous. I need a better way. And the guys are like, yeah, go to these apps.
Really?
And yeah, buy Bitcoin. No, they just have a simple escrow thing, You send the Bitcoin here, you send the cash there, everyone hits the button, boop. If it doesn't work, doesn't work.
I think that's cool, though. I mean, in all reality, it just kind of shows you that the evolution within Bitcoin is so big that we're watching major just shifts happen, minutely, right? Like the fact that Bloomberg, normally you would hear S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Now we're watching Bitcoin and its price almost overshadow the industry in which it was coming from, right? Like Bitcoin is synonymous now within crypto, and people are talking about S&P 500 crypto, and then they talk about the tech stocks. And I think that's just a major shift in finance. That it's a minute shift, but it's a major shift, because as that rhetoric keeps getting put out there, people become more and more. Remember we talked about how you have like those guys reach out to you 15 times, 20 times to get a helmet or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, in the same sense, as the messaging keeps happening between us here in America saying, hey, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, it just starts to become familiar. And that's the part that is a major shift between back alley Bitcoin and your friendly dog Bitcoin,
Bitcoin?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want no E. No, don't need any of that. I just want Bitcoin, man. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break here. Thanks to everyone watching us here on. I got a good crowd on both Rumble, YouTube. Even had a bunch of views on X here, thanks, and even the occasional scammer or two over on Twitch. So thank you very much. We haven't been broadcasting on Kick for a while, but they put some money into the creator program there, so we might head back there. But anyway, still have to take a moment out of our day here to earn a few bucks. So we're gonna do that right now, as they say.
Excellent.
And I use the word few leniently here. Anyway, we like to get the word out about how our show is broadcast. We like to try and get more people's eyeballs on it. And one of the ways you do that is either by watching us on the mobile browser, or on other platforms, browsers. But a lot of times when you minimize that, if you haven't paid them an exorbitant fee, your audio feed goes away. So a lot of people like to walk around, listen to podcasts. Some of them are video podcasts like ours. You put it in your pocket, you can't hear it anymore. Not with the Rumble app. If you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Rumble app. It's free. Believe it or not, it's free. Simple to use and the best way to stay connected to the content you want. Once you get it, search for our channel here, DYOR Media. Hit follow. That way you can get a notification every time we go live. No missed shows, no extra steps. Simple. You can grab it right now using the link in the description or in the pinned live chat or over here on the QR code. Download it to your phone and you're ready to go. And if you prefer watching on the big screen, Rumble is available on all major streaming devices and smart TVs. I must say made after 2022 when HTML5 became the standard for smart TVs. Just search for Rumble, follow the channel, and be part of the action. Ladies and gentlemen, we always want to get your eyeballs on our sponsors, and you're already halfway there if you're watching this on Rumble. Click the QR code over there, download the app. We'd really appreciate it if you did so. They're not going to even ask for any money to do that, just the Rumble app. And the best part is you can listen to us, put it in the pocket, and it doesn't turn off the audio like YouTube does. So go ahead and do that, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate it. As always, click the QR code. Check the chat here on the phone if you're doing that. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you very much for watching. Also, in the description, there is a way to download the app. And if you're watching this show but not smart enough to know how to download an app anyway, shouldn't be here. Anyway, thanks to Rumble for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live.
Oh, that a hurt for the people. There are people out there, man, that are legitly like that, right? Like I used to do insurance for an insurance company. We'd write a lot of final expense, and those are just later age policies, right? Just to bury you, right, is what they're covering. And I can't tell how many times I ran into the old timers that would just literally even have an email. Like they would literally set it up where, like, I'd have to make everything. I'd make an email for them. I'd have to go set everything up for them. And like I remember one time there was even one where she didn't even have a bank account. She's like, and I was like, ma'am, how are we gonna do this? She's like, can't. I'm gonna give it to my son. And then the son was like, man, all my money's coming out from her stuff. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? She's wanting to get it. Long story short, he's like, just go open up a bank account. I'll put it in there. I said, all right, dude. Like, you know, I was like, it's what she wants to do. And I met the gentleman. He was a cool guy. But I say it like this. Some people just aren't tech savvy stuff. All that to say, hey, so what is Bitcoin doing today right now? I'll tell you. Bitcoin right now, we're seeing at the top of the hour, watching the market come up first to come and test this area here. So it looks like a nice little area to play. A nice little play here. So we'll just do this right here. BTC. Place this right here, and the hour chart. They're coming down first. That's interesting. Oh yeah, because it's behind. I forgot it was the CME.
Hey Seuss, thanks for watching. Have a good day at the auction. Make sure you pick yourself up some cars that'll do well in police chases. Some Challengers, some Chargers, things that people can drive really fast straight, but as soon as they turn, they crash. For those of you watching, our good friend here, Baby Draco, otherwise known as Jesus, is a car dealer in the used car dealer in the San Francisco area, and we kid him about the cars he buys all the time.
Yeah.
No credit, no problem, because you ain't getting no car unless you bring cash.
Cash only, man. Great guy, though.
I'll be out of my 86 Caddy Coupe de Ville. I had the Sedan de Ville, 86 Sedan de Ville. The second year of the North Star engine, and not good. Aluminum block engine, wasn't good. Amazing engine, performed well, but not long. Well and long, different. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Pedro.
No, it's okay. It's fine. So right now we're watching it kind of come down first. So we want to be looking for it to kind of find some support at these levels here. If we go to the 2 hour, we should have a giant wick sitting right there. So yeah, I kind of like this, but we're still coming down here. So it's looking like they're going to want to touch that 99.9 area here. So I expect that they'll probably pull up some liquidity right here at the bottom of this wick and then see it come back up. Right now we're seeing the 8 and the 20 crossover on the 2-hour, and we're getting ready for the cross on literally the 8 and 20, where we'll see that the turnaround here with Bitcoin. So I expect to see probably a little bit further down, a little selling coming back in towards the end of this Thursday. Let's check out the daily here. Yeah, I could just see it. It's going to come back down, and that's a good sign. I like seeing this right here coming down, hit that area again, picking up more orders to then continue it up to the upside. So we'll find out here. I like it. I like it a lot. Quick question. Have you been looking at Ethereum?
Ethereum trading at 33.46. It hit our order at 33. I don't know what it was. We'll just call it 33.40 or something like that. Like I was saying this earlier, Pedro, before you came on. You know, last week, when Ethereum was at 3,900, and we said, oh, you know, within a week it's going to be down. It's going to come down and hit our order at 3,300. People would laugh. They're, no, you silly, weird influencer people, get out of here. Sure as a pile of horse dung, boop, came right down to it. And all those people that were going long saying Bitcoin is on its way to 5,000. Well, I agree with them. It's on its way to 5,000. Not today.
Well, I would say Ethereum is there. Ethereum, not Bitcoin. Ethereum, right? Ethereum not going. It's going to 5,000, just not today. Bitcoin. I don't think, now that I see things a little bit different. I don't really ever see Bitcoin being anything less cheaper than 75 to 60,000. I mean, in all reality, it's crazy. Just everything that's happening, it really is.
Well, even with Ethereum, I mean, Bitcoin moved down a little bit. Ethereum lost 25% of its value, and people are like, nah, whatever. When that happens in Bitcoin too, the headlines are, oh my God, biggest liquidation ever. Oh, world is fun. It's over. And trading just keeps going on day after day after day. Nothing ends. But with Ethereum, the people were, once again, we mentioned this yesterday, Pedro. Crypto Twitter was 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 for Ethereum. And we just didn't see it at this point. Do I believe Ethereum's going to 5,000? Of course. We got real short of it, but it's just not yet. And it's really funny last night because I went to this Bitcoin meetup, and the Bitcoin meetup people are, hey, you realize this is a Bitcoin meetup. This is not a shitcoin meetup. And I'm like, no, I don't trade in, meme coins and stuff. And they're like, no. There's Bitcoin, and then everything else is a shitcoin. Ethereum, XRP, they're like, no, don't even, they're like, don't even talk about it. Just I'm like, okay. And obviously they're jesting and stuff like that too, but they're serious about it. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
They're like, this is the way.
Yeah.
And they paid their bill. They've been able to pay their bill. Then they like going to this place because the waitress takes BTC. Not the waitress. They convinced the bar. It's like a brew pub type place. Said, why don't you take BTC? And so they got one of the apps that you can scan a QR code and send, either BTC or a bunch of Satoshis. And then the waitress takes tips in BTC or Satoshis directly. Just holds up her phone, you boop, and they send her a tip that way. Outside the whole system, bada bing, bada boom. Over the years, she's stacked a lot of money because it's gone up. That's a little.
Oh, how long has she been working there?
Couple of years.
Oh wow, she's done. Yeah, that tips can pick up, and the whole entire establishment has just fully accepted Bitcoin. And New York, No, you're in Chicago.
Ottawa. I'm in Ottawa.
Gotcha.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Now they had to be convinced of it, and stuff. But they're, basically the group said we'll hold our events here if you do that. And they're going, okay.
Yeah, money speaks. Like it's just
it totally does. That's
that's
the mantra we always say, Pedro, when we talk about bonds. We're not going to go over a lot of bonds today, but we talk about, for those of you listening, we talk about bonds endlessly on Technical Tuesday here, because it doesn't matter what the politicians are saying, what the government numbers are saying, all that type of stuff. All you got to do is look at the bond rates, prices, and yields, and that tells you the whole story. It's the best shortcut ever, and the man in the box up here, even though I knew this somewhere in my head, the man in the box up above me reinforced it in my head, and I was like, There was something, that was Pedro, you were late today to the show if you had stuff to do, and your internet stuff. My opening joke, as I sometimes like to have for part of my monologue, I'm gonna redo it here for you, Pedro. Let's just pretend.
All right, let's do it. Yeah,
we're at the top of the show here.
Let's go, sir.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tom. Striking here, man in the box. Listen to Pedro Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. Big day in Bitcoin, big day in the markets, and big day in economic numbers. The government released the jobs numbers, the unemployment numbers, the PPI, the CPI. They released all the things that we've been missing during the government. Oh, it's still shut down? Oh, they didn't release anything, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my bad. my bad.
I had a whole monologue and joke written around that, but so I did it by myself, and it's not as good when you do it by yourself when you count on your partner. But anyway, that was the opening line. But the point is, I jest about it, but the point is that the markets keep going, even though now all the markets do is like wait for certain numbers to be released. What day is it? Everyone's talking about it. Obviously, long-term traders that hold over long periods of time don't give a shit about what the numbers are for this and that. They're just buying, holding, and adding to their wealth. But people that trade or have short-term investments pay attention to what the numbers coming out of the government say. And Wall Street kind of comes to a halt on certain days of the month, waiting for Jerome Powell to speak, waiting for a labor number to be released. And my point is that it shouldn't. The government should never have the ability to bring the markets to a halt as part of normal daily business. Like, they can bring the markets to a halt after like 9/11 when the world blew up. That's one thing. But when the liquidity is drained from the markets because we're waiting for a stupid unemployment number, like I said, back in the day, they didn't used to do this. They didn't used to do that. They would just release numbers when they were ready. All right, done, release it. The Feds would vote to change. They wouldn't even meet at the same time. They'd be like, all right, let's just meet. Let's change it. The bank would go to borrow some money, and they'd be like, oh, it's 4.25% now. And they're like, oh, it was 4% earlier. Well, it's different now. Okay. And now it's a big deal. So the markets anticipate it. So they drain liquidity out of the market, waiting for this to happen. And I don't like it. Don't like it at all. Chuck showing us from love from YouTube. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. Good to have you. Love it. Giving us some love over there. What up, Chuck? I think what's interesting is watching what is actually happening with bonds. And so we had a huge sell-off yesterday. Right? I wouldn't say huge, but it was a decent sell-off. And we saw it sell off, and I was like, it's coming back and testing that 89 100. I was like, this thing's going to go up from there. There's no way that they don't bounce. That's just free money for them. And so, but in that same sense, I said, well, if this is selling off, we should be seeing yields on the 10-year skyrocket. I mean, easily. And so sure enough, I looked, and we saw a huge push up going from 4.8 or 4.08% all the way up to 4.15. And I literally thought to myself, those poor people who ran their credit that day and got a house, right? Like that, just skyrocket. They're like, wait, what? How much? Because that's a lot of money. We're talking difference between 0.1% versus 0.0%. That's almost, what was that? Was
with the prices of houses now, that's a big difference in your monthly payment.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy when I saw that. But again, we're coming back down on the yields, and I'm just interested to see though that it's kind of moving up without real like I don't know with I'm sitting there looking at the volume going, it's not really telling me much. I mean, it's kind of just they're not it's I feel like they don't want it. I almost feel like the Fed through other and they do have stuff like this, but I feel like they're sitting there and they're trying to like strategically not mess with it. But anyways, long story short, they put an ungodly amount of volume on the CME though yesterday, and I was like, because this was the whole entire thing of Powell literally saying, hey, I don't expect, or because of inflation, which is right, what we're really not seeing, we're not really seeing inflation and how he's speaking about it. It's because of the debt itself. That's why we're having inflation. Anyways, so, but it made everybody just run in and buy yields because he said we're probably not going to sell off here, or I'm probably not going to drop yields in December. And then in that, you had a few of the other people on the council just kind of protest, saying, we protest the decision. What is it? Thou protest it's on Taming of the Shrew. Shoot, I messed it up. Anyways, I was trying to sound smart there and definitely did not. Side note, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says that it's better to play in stable coins than miss this opportunity, which I thought was kind of funny.
To play in stable coins. I mean, he's making his own stable coin, the JP Morgan coin. And they're making a couple. They probably have 100 in a couple of weeks here, but they want their own. There's an interesting argument today at the Blockchain Futurist Convention in Florida. A panel discussion. Two guys got into it about stablecoin adoption in JP Morgan specifically, and it was very interesting. One guy was like, it's just, I worked at JP Morgan. It's just not going to happen. They got other priorities. This is just a flash in the pan for them type thing. The other guy was like, it's going to be demanded because people are going to be operating in stable coins, and they're not going to have a choice. They're going to have to respond to the market. It was a very interesting discussion. The moderator did a poor job of letting the other people talk, but these guys hashed through that a lot. And the guy, one of the guys, I don't know which one, reinforced the concept that people vote with their ease of use, and that JP Morgan will say, hey, you can settle your transaction in cash. Sure, it'll take 2 days. Or you can settle in JP Morgan coin and it'll take 10 seconds. What do you want? People are going to say, I'll take the 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
And if that money...
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, they'll take the second because the quicker that they have their money again, they may even take a bit of a fee out of it, right? But it's still going to be a lot less. I mean, you'll have your convenience fee, right? Of within 10 minutes, you actually have it. But on the back end, I think what we're going to see is other banks do that. And then we'll see them just like with airlines and just like with banks as well. They have battles. They have fee battles right between each other to try to get clients. And so, that convenience fee will sooner or later just be negligible because somebody else will come along and be like, well, I'm a small bank. I can buy, Tether and then turn that in, or take my own money and create my own stable coin, like local bank stable coin. Right? And if you hold it with us, we give you a better yield. You know what I'm saying? Versus if you go to JP Morgan and it's still backed by treasuries. This is the part that's so interesting, is that it's being backed by treasuries. You're actually having to go take these coins, which is like fake money, right? Like in essence, you're back and buy, and when you buy it, you buy stable coins, which is still fake money called debt, which is fiat, right? And every time they do that, they're actually helping out America. And more important than that, right?
Okay.
It's getting people to become comfortable with the actual blockchain, getting people to realize there's a lot more money to be made in BTC. So I'm actually looking forward to just how everything's working. Also, just in, Google partners with crypto prediction platform Polymarket to integrate directly into search. So like now when I go through and I want to check something out, it's actually going to connect and let me know what's happening with Polymarket if I want to check something out.
Polymarket, the information is going to be available everywhere. Big news on ESPN front too, Pedro. They're dropping, I don't know who they're dropping, but they're signing up DraftKings to be their official betting operation and sports odds provider and stuff like that. They kicked out the other one. DraftKings, I believe DraftKings has a relationship existing with Polymarket and stuff like that. I bet you're going to see these organizations merge like this.
I think honestly,
the guy at the head of it's going to be Mr. Gambino.
This is what I think. I think Crypto.com is going to actually buy out all those companies.
I don't think they have enough money now. I mean, with the billions invested in Polymarket,
I think
your price of Crow will go down significantly when they sell it off to grab the liquidity.
Well, I think the reason why I say that is simply because they have a whole entire betting market as well. And if I was them, they've got enough investors in Crypto.com that if they would make the bid to connect with Polymarket, it would go. They would, without having to deal with regulations, because again, it's outside of that. There's no real regulatory framework. They could corner the market. And so why wouldn't they do that? This is Pedro's prediction at times, right? And I typically have a good eye on things that potentially could come. So I don't know if that's happening or not, but I know that if I was them, that's what I would be doing. I'd be thinking, how do we buy and part? Just like when, Facebook saw that Instagram was just a juggernaut of a social media platform. They were like, we need to buy it, or that's going to be the unfolding of us. And that's what they did. I think in the same sense, that's what we'll see.
Just like Google buying YouTube. They're like,
yeah, absolutely.
They're like, people are going to be watching these videos like crazy. And that was back revenues. 10 years ago when they bought them, or 15 years ago, whatever.
15.
They're like, we can make a lot of money selling ads there. And they were right. They were right. Just a reminder, everybody, especially those on X and Twitch and stuff like that. Like, subscribe, follow, repost. Just do it. Reposting us helps us out a lot, ladies and gentlemen. It does. If you're watching on X, open up this little window in its other little browser here, or if you click it just right and you're on the desktop, it opens in the corner and just stays running. That helps us out a lot. Plus, you can keep watching us. You don't have to scroll by. Nope. You can actually watch us for our entire show. Some of you do. Some of you don't. Anyway, welcome to everybody that's watching.
Absolutely.
If any of you are watching from the Capital Bitcoiner group here in Ottawa, let me know.
No, it's really interesting.
You said you're going to watch, and I haven't seen one comment yet. Corey.
It's all good. But here's the thing. It's really interesting. I think Charles Schwab's CEO actually came on. I forget his name. It's Rick Wurster is his name. But he was talking about
Dick
he was
Wurst?
on Rick Wurster. Oh, Richard Dick. Got you.
Dick Wurst.
Got you. Yes.
With last name first. Who's up? Worst Dick.
Worster Dick.
Sorry.
Listen, that was my co-host right here. If you're gonna take him out, just make sure you just leave me out of that. But on the back end, he was literally saying that since he's actually added the crypto markets to some of the stuff that's some products to their website, this is Charles Schwab. They've actually seen a ton of people Like 90% of the people are coming back and messing with crypto and interacting with their own blockchain, which I thought was so interesting when he was talking about that. Because ultimately, like one of the things we've got to get people to, and this is what we're seeing again on Bloomberg as well as CNBC, crypto is in their mouth at least hourly. They're talking about it and what's actually happening with the coins and what they're doing it in addition to the stable coins. It is one of those things that's just truly starting to take over and drip into the psyche of everyday Americans. When they want to go and they want to look at the market, they're going to see S&P 500, Bitcoin, and then, you know, NASDAQ, right? And as that keeps progressing, we'll start to see the other coins being talked about and brought up. So it's going to be really interesting. We're still in a very nascent area, and right now we're seeing a lot of the coins sell off. And I think what's important is to understand that we're not done. The market is not done. A lot of those coins are not going to go away. Keep looking at it. I'm looking at it a lot myself and buying at this huge low. The ones that I am looking at primarily to really put money are ones that are going to act as debt instruments, ones that will be a treasury, and you can take advantage of that. But apart from that, yeah, that's what we're looking at. Right back at to you, Thomas.
I was just checking the stats out here for the show. We've had a good crowd here so far. Still have a good crowd on Rumble. Got our loyal follower on Facebook that watches and comments. Thank you for that. I don't monitor the Facebook comments. If you'd like to participate in the conversation, come over to Rumble and join us here. Pedro, Facebook deleted 3 years of shows, of which people... they got views and some ad runs on some of the older shows. People would watch them. But Facebook said, we're not storing your old shit. Then we're done with doing that. We're only going to keep 7 days worth of stuff. And that's it. They just delete everything. I have another page, Facebook page for a production company that I used to do events with when I lived full-time in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I had great pictures from there. I would live stream other things there, live stream events that I did. Live stream. I would sometimes, a lot of times, put the DYOR live stream there just to get some extra views. All gone, deleted. So now the timeline from this carefully curated thing of events and all this type of stuff just looks like a bunch of spam ads, and you're just like. They gave me a warning. They're like, we're gonna delete all these things and clean it up. What I didn't realize they meant. Delete them forever, like goodbye. I thought they were just like, we're reorganizing this, so there's the archives and then there's the current stuff. Nope, deleted. Goodbye.
Yeah, I wonder how much money they saved. I wonder how much money they saved on storage.
Probably a lot, because we had just us had more than 1.5 terabytes of stuff. And thank you to our free spam engagement over on Twitch, to the damn Report W advertising for stuff that you shouldn't do on Twitch and get fake viewers. But we get the free engagement. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'll get the report saying we had one Twitter or a chatter on Twitch. Thank you. Once again, Pedro, I went over to Twitch, and one of my friends is like a lo-fi DJ type guy, and broadcasts on Twitch. He's out in Vancouver, a guy named Rocky, and so I go over there and look at him. He does an evening session, good stuff, good lo-fi music to work to and hang out to and stuff, and have a drink to. And then there was a couple other crypto people broadcasting at the same time. I'm like, ooh, let me check them out. A couple of dudes like us. 0-1 view, and then we'll just say someone of the female persuasion who is as smart as my old sock. And maybe if you guys watch the movie Slow Horses with Gary Oldman playing the totally disheveled MI5 agent in London, and his show is him with his dirty old sock sticking up on his desk. This person was as smart as that sock. 1,500 viewers.
Bro. That's how it works. That's how it works.
And it wasn't because she had the girls out either. Those are a whole bunch of different channels. It's just it's driving me crazy. Anyway, Gotta let me bitch here at this time of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the bottom of the hour here, 1:30 Eastern time zones. And you're watching DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. Markets moving and grooving, but not really that much. Nasdaq's down 400. The Dow is also down 400. That's interesting. S&P's down 60. The VIX is moving at 1.93. And then our friend, the Bitcoiners and the Ethereums and all that type of stuff are on average down, as you can, I don't know if that's up or not, by the chart next to me here. The great graphics machine over here is all down. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, Solana
is coming back down. So we just bounced off of our area here, that 147 to that 144 area we talked about here. Literally came down, tapped it, and then pushed back up. But it's not looking like it's going to continue up here. You can see here we had a low amount of volume with a huge amount of seller volume, right? You can see the increasing of seller volume sitting there. So I would expect to see it continue down to this low liquidity point of that 126 and potentially 192 again. Now we bounced off of this a while back here when we had the huge sell-off back in April, really, when we were talking about it hitting that 92 to 79 area. But I'm expecting to see it continue down. Even if we come down into this level, I would expect it to kind of get into that $85 area. But it's really, really interesting to see, where is this money going, right? Like I'm just wondering, because there's a lot of money here. And so as these come down, all those Solana coins that are on Solana, some of them are going to go to other places, right? Like I'd expect them to see, like, if you're a meme coin, you're like, dude, we're getting killed by Solana, right? And we may be doing good. I would think, right, because literally when you look at what's happening here with BNB might come back a little. So I'm kind of waiting and seeing what's actually happening here with BNB. I'm also paying attention down here to Aster. You know, like how it's playing off of these lows here. One of the biggest things that I'm paying attention to is seeing volume come in, and we're starting to see, like I said, volume come in, not excessive amount, but if I start to see it get up and go, I think we could see another rally in what I would say is Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but with BNB. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Aster, right, sitting at $1, down 10% today. Well, 9.5% today. Aster's been quite volatile lately. See those big candles there? I've had some volatility in Aster, up and down, shake your booty all around type stuff.
Shout out to the
you know what? I have a graph here that I'm going to put up here, Pedro, about Aster. This graph, or whatever you want to call it, chart or whatever, shows
the trading volume on all of the DEXs.
Yeah, I'm going to turn our pictures off here so people can see the thing here.
Yes.
The Aster disappeared off this. Aster was killing it. They had all of the trading volume listed here. If you can see, it says Hyperliquid is the biggest here, the darkest blue. This dark blue here is Hyperliquid, and then the orange, that's Apex. Aster's this light blue here that started in October. This is a year-long chart. Let me move to the 3-month chart. And this is Aster, this light blue. I'm sorry, that's lighter. The DEX lighter, or whatever it is there. Here's Aster, where they grabbed a big chunk of the volume. Still, this chart changes all the time. I don't know why, but if you recall, only a couple of times ago, we were talking about how Aster had 90% of the volume and Hyperliquid went to zero. Not zero, but down a lot. And then Aster disappeared off this chart for a while, and it was all Hyperliquid volume. And now Aster's back, and it's like they went and created a new way of measuring it, so that it shows that the volume wasn't as high as it was before, or the share of the total market wasn't as high. And about the time they've changed these charts is about the time you see a lot of money coming out of Aster. And so I'm wondering if there were some shenanigans, or let's use the word miscalculations, in how the volume was counted in Aster. Because this is from the block, and they get it from DeFi Llama. And Aster had a big share, and people were like, oh my God, they've grabbed 90% of the DEX futures market. It's unbelievable. And then all of a sudden they're gone off this chart. And then when they come back, they're a much smaller portion. And you see the money coming out of Aster also. It's like, why is there reason for this? So interesting coincidence? Or is there something behind the scenes? Were they doing a lot of wash trading that maybe the graphing people figured out how to eliminate?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. It's never just one, right? It's normally a bit of both. And then and people are greedy. That's the best way of looking at it. Is people are greedy, and they're going, what? No way. But that's the one thing you can kind of count on, right? You can count on people are going to be duplicitous. People are going to be greedy. People are going to want to get their way. And so because you know that is the way of the world, you know that there's always going to be shenanigans. So you can actually capitalize on that with the arbitrage, right? And so somebody definitely arbitraged off of both. I don't know who it was, but they played it brilliantly. And part of me thinks it might even be B&B, knowing that might have happened, and they knew they were going to do what they did, right, by supporting Aster. So why would you not short this major coin, major index for a period in time, draw out the liquidity, and then put it back in, right? Buy it back when it sells off. I mean, they literally make, 8 to 10 times the amount of money, and within a 2-week period. I bet you that's what we saw.
Pedro, I just can't believe that you would suggest that there would be anything other than 100% transparency and full honesty on everyone's part in the financial markets, especially crypto. I mean,
yeah, I know.
All of you know I am jesting, and that the way you make money in the market is understanding that you are the mark, and other people that have a lot more money than you are trying to take your money. But you play by your own little set of rules that keeps you from falling victim to them. That's what Pedro's been teaching me over time here.
When the news is screaming good, I'm looking up bad. What's happening bad over here? Like, if they're telling me to look this way, I want to look that way.
Sorry, I was looking for something here. Did Trump have a big announcement today? I didn't see the markets really move, so.
Nah, not really. Maybe we would have seen it. I mean, he kind of says stuff every single day, but nothing where I would sit there and like direct note worth going, holy moly, what just happened, right? So like I think ultimately he's doing his thing. I think China is probably pulling money out because I know that their economy is really hurting right now with a few of the bazooka quantitative easing that they've tried to do throughout their whole entire market. It's really been kind of disheartening them. So it's we'll see what happens there, but I think they're probably pulling money out of crypto because why they said, oh, we're going to accept crypto, which brings everybody in and they're able to sell off on them. So I think that's also some portions that is actually happening. Also, I want to mention, long story short, you've seen Tom put up the Bitcoin.com website underneath me. I'm going to be speaking there tonight. It's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and that's going to be East Coast, 8 p.m. over at Bitcoin.com. And so I'm going to be talking about some stuff. So if you guys come over and support me, that would be really great. I appreciate that.
For you loyal viewers, I will social media that and drop links to it so you can find the link to Pedro's appearance on Bitcoin.com's podcast in all your usual spots that you follow us. In other words, if we don't see you there, we're going to find you and beat the beep out of you.
The way you said that, bro, is like what's the guy that talks like this and he's on every single mobster movie, Pesci, like we'll come and find you.
That was the intent. That
Yeah,
was
that's perfect. Yeah, that's good. That was really
Joe.
good. Dude, anyways, what's super funny is every time I think about Joe Pesci, I always think about that Snickers bar commercial that he did. That was hilarious, right? And where somebody was like, "Yo, you're being a Pesci," and then he's like, "Why?" And then they give him a Snickers bar. I thought it was absolutely funny. Anyways, on a side note, let's look at a couple other things here real quick that we've been paying attention to. So we've seen it kind of a little bit sell off again. We saw a pullback tomorrow, yesterday, but again, I'm looking for DOT to come down to these lower levels again. I wanted to bring this up because we're starting to come down. There's that 213 and 142 is one of the areas that I'm looking at for DOT. The other one that I'm looking for as well is actually Atom, Cosmo.
We haven't talked about that in a while.
Atom. Cosmo, bro.
Their year-long chart. No look good.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it's coming down. So
11 months ago, they're at $9, $10.
Yeah, we talked about that big push-up, and I thought that was going to continue up. But you can see here that I didn't have much of support going up here, so you could see it's definitely coming back down, and it's coming back down to this area, this flash crash area, which is going to be that 147 area to that 106. I'm going to be looking to buy, like again at these prices. If it does fall through, then what I'm saying, okay, that's what happens. But you're buying it literally at discount price, and Atom has such a big portion in the game, in crypto gaming. They have large groups, so it's like there's still going to be these big push that are going to go out there, like Gala, right? Gala is still developing games for crypto, right? There's all these little things that we don't know about, but they're still working, and they're getting better, and they're enhancing their blockchain to actually be able to interact with real world assets in regards to gaming. So this is one of those ones that I'm looking at going, dude, gaming is a $100 billion industry. And
bigger,
so you want to be
200 or 300 billion. It makes the NFL and Major League Baseball and all that look like little, like Toys R Us franchises.
There you go. It's a real
seriously.
thing.
I mean, gaming is so much bigger than sports, and it gets so much less coverage in the world. I mean, it's unbelievable. When I learned that statistic, Pedro, when they first told me how much like Epic Games was worth, and its volume and its sales, and how much Microsoft earns from Xbox, and Sony earns this and that, and the size of the market, that people just spending, kids just spending their money on things to put on their shoot 'em up guys, and the cost of GTA 6 is coming out. And its development cost was $2 billion. I mean, you could buy the Chicago Cubs for $2 billion. Yet they put $2 billion in it. It's expected to earn $1 billion. It's launch week. Launch week.
That's crazy. $2 billion, man. It took $2 billion to build it, and they did over a period of how long? It was like 3 years, 4 years.
A couple of years, but a couple of years before AI was around, and now AI has shortened a lot of the time for making a lot of these games.
There we go. I was wondering why I couldn't. So I'm looking at Cosmo on CoinMarketCap, and I think what's interesting here, you can see. So you see, I have a lower. Here we go. I'm gonna do this here real quick. 1 month. They've got lows over here on CoinMarketCap sitting around that 111 down to 6. So I'm going to actually pull this up here because we could see this thing go down to here. Let me go ahead. So, and where are
I've
you
been
at?
ignoring the clock here.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't, that was thrown out. Sorry I was late, guys.
Got a good crowd here on Rumble. Low. Got 18
Yeah,
people
we
watching
did.
right now. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We've had probably over 100 come and go.
Glad to have everyone
during this show.
guys.
Glad to have everybody. Same on YouTube.
Absolutely. And if you guys have any
Twitch
questions, please ask us, you know, if you have anything you want to talk about. I'd love to look at it for you guys. Real quick, as I pull up the Binance chart, this one went all the way down. I can't believe that. That's crazy. Is that a real candle? Did it really go all the way down on Binance? Down to
you know what? There's
0.001?
a bunch of things that you have brought up in the past couple of days
Mm-hmm.
show on Binance a wacky candle on that day,
Mm-hmm.
but not on other charts.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking since it was more than one, more than two different. Like what was it yesterday you brought up and it had a crazy one
Yeah,
just
it
like that
was.
all the way down there.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like I'm just like that right there, that would have bankrupted. I mean, literally going from $3 all the way down to 0.001. I mean, honestly, this is the type of thing that institutions do, where they go through and they'll just shadow, you know, they'll just sell something off super low, and it'll be like a flash crash. I mean, super quick. This was back in the day, and this is what it feels like. But if anybody got in at those lower levels, man, we're talking you're set.
You know, well, I just get my limit order down near at -40. It hit it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it skyrocketed to $20, right? Like,
Yeah,
look at
although then you get the note from the exchange. We've invalidated your order due to poor pricing. Refer to our terms of service here. Meanwhile, then you then took the other side of the position to close your order out. They invalidate your low buy, and now the market has gone above where you sold it at, and now you're underwater. People get a little frustrated when that happens.
you can see right here, this actually really did happen. Like the amount of sellers, that legitimately happened on this chart. It looks like there were real orders being.
Oh wow, yeah, look at that volume.
Yeah, that was.
That's
real.
only in 1 hour. It's not like a day either. That's 1 hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. If it'll let me go to the 5-minute. I might. I just want to reiterate, if I get canceled here, and not canceled, but like my internet decides it doesn't want to work, I just want to also again just point out I'm going to be on Bitcoin.com podcast tonight. Come check me out. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come out, show your boy some love, and see what's up. All right, so it's right here. Why won't it let me? Let's see if we can do this here real quick. Come on. Yeah, it's not going to maybe 15 minutes.
All right, while Pedro's
Here
figuring
we
this out, I'm going to take this opportunity to read an ad. Make it the monies.
It really hit it. That is crazy. It really hit it.
All right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Good. I'm going to just interrupt you for a second, then we'll talk through the rest of the show about these making the monies things. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a little break to hear from one of our sponsors. Listen, don't eat breakfast until you learn about caloric bypass. Your breakfast is setting you up for the entire day to either gain weight or lose it. The term breakfast literally means to break your fast. Hey, good point. That you started the night before. About 4 hours after you eat dinner, your body switches from the nutrients we get from food to the stored glycogen we have in our bodies. Once glycogen stores are depleted, typically after 8 to 10 hours of fasting, the body shifts to burning fat for energy. Fatty acids are released from fat stores where they are converted into ketone bodies through a process called ketogenesis. When you eat breakfast in the morning, the body starts the cycle all over again. This is where the caloric bypass comes into play. Dr. Gundry, a heart surgeon in California, learned that if you break your nightly fast with something called MCTs, or medium chain triglycerides, you can actually keep burning fat throughout the day and use it for energy. But there are specific types of foods that contain these MCTs. Using this breakfast breakthrough, he was able to lose 70 pounds just through diet, and he did this in his 60s. Scan the QR code over here or click the link in the chat to watch Dr. Gundry's eye-opening presentation. It could change the way you think about fruit forever. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Gundry MD for sponsoring this segment of DYOR. There's a QR code over there. Please click it. Put your eyeballs on our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. They really enjoy hearing from you and in just at least getting the opportunity to pitch you on what they're selling. But Gundry MD says, avoid the 3 fruits ruining your gut and energy. Scan the QR code and check the chat to watch Dr. Gundry's viral video now. Thank you very much for Dr. Gundry for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. All right, Pedro, sorry for interrupting you there, but we had a good rate on that one of 15 whole cents.
There we go, making that money. Let's go. All right. Always love the ones that go into, one being the gamer stuff, for the other ones that are for my Raiders, the football stuff.
Yeah, we had the sports, so we probably won't see the sports one until basketball starts spinning up.
Yeah. That's what's interesting is the ability now that we're watching within DraftKings and what's actually happening with Google and Polymarket. That's going to be really, really fight. I mean, DraftKings really hasn't had anybody to fight against it, right? And that Polymarket situation, it's just it's too tempting, right? And it's so much more efficient comparative to having having a. So it's just like it's going to be really, I like I said, competition breeds excellence. Right, and so and it makes everything go down in price for us, so that's going to be fun. Let's check out here real quick. So yeah, Atom looks like on the Binance chart did come all the way down to the 0.001, and then skyrocketed to $2. Talking that's 1, 2, 3. That's 1,000x. Somebody got they sold off, bought in, and then. That can't be right.
It can't be right. There would be lawsuits, manipulators, No,
but here's the thing: it's a part of their stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, I gotta find that out. But it looks like it. That's what it did. Real interesting. One of the other ones that I'm looking at as well is, and we've talked about this, and they're actually bucking the trend of what's actually happening in the broader markets. So this is actually BAT token. This is the Brave browser token. We've talked about this multiple times here. We talked about it down here at 10 cents. We talked about it here again around 12 cents. Well, it's sitting at 21 cents as of today. And it is literally just saying, what's my name? What? Say again? And it's saying it with its chest puffed out, like, and it's a big deal because they've been in the drudges down here at that 10-cent mark for almost half a year, right? Just playing here, and the rest of the markets were literally just were skyrocketing. Everything was doing well, and then just recently it just got attention. So I find it's one of those ones I'm looking at. Obviously, we want to buy at the high, but now that we broke everything with good volume, right? Look at the volume here. We broke it. Boom. We're watching it break here. They let it come back down here, but look, it's just simply matching orders. And what I'm paying attention to is it just broke the monthly 20, and the next one is all the way up to that 32 cents. And then after that, it's at that 40 cents. You have the 200 weekly, but it's not showing some strength. So like you could catch a pullback here with it. And the part that you want to be paying attention, if you look at the weekly chart here, you can see that we're seeing a big increase in volume. And the way that they played this here Like really, like this area right here is brilliant. To let it come back down, right? Find a low, higher low, which is what this is it. And then from there, took the liquidity from here and then put a higher high, higher low, higher high. So we'll probably hit that 200 period moving on the weekly around that 27 cents, pull back to that 8 period, probably be around 20 bucks at that time. That's going to be that area right there. Keep following that. You can see how we hit that perfectly. It's going to be right here, right? Is that 8 period purple line. This guy right here. We want to see come back down to that and then just watch it send off. So it's one of the things I'm paying attention to. We've watched it now. Well, I've watched it now for almost 3 weeks now, really start to show some strength. And so I saw as it was pushing up here, we didn't really talk about it until really today, because I've just been watching it really kind of take off with good volume. We're seeing demand wicks on the daily, 2 hour, 1 hour, just all through it. So I'm kind of hung go here. So I'm kind of waiting for it to kind of push up, come back down again, and then continue up. So we'll be looking at that again, but it's one of those nice little gems that it's just bucking the sell-off of this market. And this, I believe, and I think one of these ones are going to be, this is what we're going to start seeing with a lot of the altcoins, right? And maybe BAT is one of the ones that is, you know, it's really a real world asset, right? It has, you can choose what types of, I believe what types of advertisings that you can get, and you can decide if you don't want it or not, and you can actually go through and say, I want to make money on it, on these advertisements. So I respect that, and they're starting to get some shine for it, which is really good. So shout out to BAT, or Brave, the Brave browser token,
Basic Access Token.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, Basic Attention Token. Basic Attention Token. And I only know that because when I typed BAT into the great graphics machine over here, it pulled it up.
Well, and also just want to add in, you have its high was almost $2 at the previous bull market. So that's it's a pretty big deal right now that it's in at 21 cents. So, and what is its market cap? Is it under $1 billion?
Oh yeah, it's 327 million market cap, 83 million traded in the past 24 hours.
There you go, man. Like you can see, I mean, something has definitely picked up. So I don't know what the news came out, but this was really good here, and you can see the push up. This was really, really good here as well. So the fact that we're putting that higher low in now, another higher low with a high from this higher high, so that you should see another higher high and then come back down and then some close to that. A shout out to you guys. Also, I think that's, for me, those were the ones I kind of wanted to talk about. Everything else is kind of just looking like Bitcoin, where it's this chart right here. So, all right. It's about 2 hours. We're just at that 2 hour mark.
If you've got a few things you want to wrap up, you feel free to.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you don't have to.
I do actually have to kind of get back to some things. But thank you guys for having me today. And Tom, thank you for having me today again.
Thank you for bringing the good stuff here, Pedro. Just quickly, Federal Reserve Governor Stephen Miran expects a December rate cut. The news just kind of dropped. He's a Trump supporter. And so the pressure is already coming on for the rates to be dropped again in December. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you that watched today, thank you very much. We had a good crew here today. Good crowd across the whole spectrum here. Thanks to anyone from the Capital Bitcoiners group that took time to watch today. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next month at the meetup. Maybe hear from you before then. But thank you, Pedro. As always, thank you very much. As I like to say, the man in the box next to me, Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. My name is Striking, otherwise known as Tom, here in the real world. We'll get to you guys tomorrow on Friday, but pay attention to our social medias. I'm going to drop the links to Pedro's appearance tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Bitcoin.com podcast. So we'll see you tonight and tomorrow. Be there. Oh, no sound. Wah, wah, wah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys later.